There we go. Okay, so I don't need my controller anymore. So this mod pack, for anyone who knows much about Minecraft, or at least modded Minecraft, is a mix between the Sky Factories, so Sky Factory 3 and 4. It's got some Galacticraft and other space elements added into it, as well as a few other dimensions. So let's pull up this world. This is my main world. I've been doing a series in YouTube, or if you're watching on YouTube, you clearly know that I've been doing a series in this. And I think now I should have all of the glitches worked out and all of the incorporations between mod packs working at least fairly smoothly. There might be a few things you have to do in an odd way. So Minecraft was acting up. Let me reload the world and see what was wrong, or if it fixes it. Okay. There we go. There we go. See, I don't know why it was messing up like that. So yeah, let me just go, and I can take all these items I got and go put them in my computer. So in this mod pack, we got a computer. So let me just go dump all of these items in. So like this computer, it searches through all of my storage that's down here. So I got 4 chests and 2 crates, but these chests are huge. Like these 4 chests hold most of my stuff. Hey, oops! You're home. I thought I heard you coming in. So welcome to the fellowship. But so the computer can search through all my stuff. Hey, Demondras! Welcome to the fellowship. Where was I? What was I talking about? I forgot. Oh yeah, the computer. So the computer, so like it can search through all my stuff. So like it's, instead of having to search through all your inventories and chests all the time, you can just go type what you want. And then, yeah. Hey. Show off your Gandalf emotes. What's some of the other cool things? Well, there's this guy. So this villager, I can talk to him, and he's a little marketplace of seeds and trees and stuff like that. So I can just go to him when I need some of like the simple stuff. There is this, so like part of Sky Factory 4 that I included is saplings. So like you can see this little tree is just sitting in this pot and growing. It's a bonsai pot. And so it'll grow, and it's 100%, and it just keeps outputting. So like this is an apple tree, so it just gives me a ton of apples. And over here I've got other trees, like inside of this one is a diamond tree, inside of this one's a redstone tree, I've got a lapis tree, I've got a silver tree, I've got an iron tree, so like that's just giving me all kinds of stuff that I can use to make resources. Yeah, how are you, Demondra? I just started like 5 or 6 minutes ago. Like I had just pulled, I had just pulled it up when you got home. Oops. And then over here is a complicated system. So this thing, let me go put my jetpack back on. So this, I've got cobblestone generators that just keeps this chest filled with cobblestone. And then I got pipes running the cobblestone to hammers. So like if you hammer cobblestone, it turns into gravel. If you hammer gravel, it turns into sand. If you hammer sand, it turns into, we don't really, am I out of power? Hold on, my jetpack's on. Okay, let me go down below. What's up with my power? Okay, the power's connected to that thing. Why is it not working? Set it there. Set it there. Why do I not have power? me check my generators. My generators are creating power. Oh, they're off. There we go. Let's see, is he getting power now? There we go, there's the power. But so when you hammer sand, the output of sand is dust, and you can't really see it. So I'll have to go get some somewhere else. But then you can put it through sifters, and it just gives you a ton of stuff. So like it gives me blaze powder, it gives me black quartz, it gives me little pieces of metal, and I can combine those pieces of metal into blocks of metal, or blocks of stuff, or chunks of metal. So like I have an iron chunk. And so now, well, why is this filling up? Hold on. I think something got broken. There we go. Now it's going. It's like the chunks of metal get melted down into liquid metal, and then over here it gets turned into ingots, and they can just go into this chest over here. Yeah, she just got home. She left me this afternoon when I was going to be streaming to go see her sister and her brother and her nephew. What a jerk, right, Demandra? Just kidding. I love you, sweetie. But so there's all that type of stuff. There's a laser. So I can put different things in front of this laser and zap it, and it'll turn it into something else, because it's an atomic reconstructor. We got a fancy power system, so I can turn cobblestone into lava by melting it down in a cauldron, and then take it and put it into geothermal generators, and this turns lava into power. And I feel like I'm running out of power. Oops. Oops. Oh no. Oh, land. Land. Okay. So I've got all that stuff kind of going. I've got... I have a bucket. Let me grab my remote out and get a bucket. Let's craft a bucket, since I apparently don't have one in storage. Bucket of lava into that chamber. There we go. Let's walk away with this. So the main generator that keeps my production going had apparently run out of lava. And so the entire system stopped working. And if I walk over there, so like that's all that noise you hear when I go over there is cobblestone getting dumped in the cauldron, melting down. It's melting super quick. Gets sucking out, putting it into these generators, and the generator is powering the device to keep that cycle going. So it has enough power to cycle itself as long as I get it going. So yeah, you can see this is now powering that. I need a flux point. Okay, let's keep this thing powered. Okay. So now that's all going. So that's most of that stuff. A cool thing over here is, so like instead of some stuff, like if it's coming out like all the stuff that mobs drop, because this is a fancy mob spawner, I can collect using an item collector and then pipe it into a storage system that just kind of shows it to me, so I can see everything. And down here we have a nicer storage system where I need I need to make some dark glass. So thickened glass and black dye. Sandy glass. Okay. Sand and glass. Okay. Let's go try and start some of that real quick. In the computer. Just because I want to kind of show off. Well, I guess I'll show this off in a minute. But got that. So how do I actually make this? I furnace it. Okay. Oh, don't lie, sweetie. You know you're going to be bored watching Minecraft. But so down here is a mob spawner. So inside of there is just a dark room, and these fans are blowing mobs to their death, and then their items are getting collected up here. And if it's a normal item, it just kind of sits here. Or if it's an item I want, I can put it in this ender chest, and the ender chest sucks it up to the top up there. So like my base is way up there. But if it's a thing called a loot bag, the loot bags come over here. So there's common loot bags, and if you put 9 of them together, which is what this is doing, so it's compressing them down. 9 of them turn into one uncommon. 9 uncommons turns to a rare. A rare turns into an epic, and then 9 epics turn into a legendary loot bag. And then there's also things like an artifact loot bag, a Sorin bag, and there's a few other bags. But so in a minute, we can come open some of these bags and see what I got. But the last really cool main part of this mod pack is all the space stuff. So I have an oxygen collector and a compressor so that it's storing it in tanks. I've got a fuel loader so I can make oil and turn it into fuel and then load up my rocket. And I've already actually flown a rocket once, so actually, where is my rocket? There's a rocket. Let's put this rocket down. Bam. F for fuel? It's empty. What's F5? Yeah. Let's get this rocket back. Oh. Is this rocket fueled? This rocket's fueled. So that's the unfueled one. So this rocket's fueled, so let's take off. Launch. Let's see, because I've gone to the moon, and I have a little portal over there. If you see the green thing with the purple portal in it, that takes me to the moon, because I've already been there once. Let's go see if I can go anywhere other than the moon. Because if I can, I'm going to not go to the moon. I'm going to not go there, because I'm not supplied to go there. But I just want to see if I can get anywhere else. Or whether, because I'm pretty sure I need to, like, the path of the space area is you have to explore the moon to unlock the level 2 rocket. And the level 2 rocket can take you to like Mars and a few other places. And then on there, you can unlock the next level rocket and go further and further out from Earth. And every time you go somewhere new, if you take a portal and some kind of power source that can power like a solar panel, you could slap that down on a new planet and just come back and forth to Earth. So we're going up to space. You can see me in the little window there. And I can just look around inside the rocket. Okay, so Mercury levels is a tier 3 rocket up here. Venus is tier 2. I can go back to Earth. I can go to the moon. Mars is level 2. The asteroids are level 4. Those are up there. So yeah, I can't really go anywhere else. Um, and so like there's other space places. So I'm gonna go to Sol and the moon. So I'm just gonna go ahead and head to the moon. And so I've got to load the travel there before I land. Probably should have just landed back on Earth, but I would rather not risk blowing up my base. There. Taking one small step. So yeah, I have to land my rocket safely. And hopefully it lands me somewhere near my... okay, good, I have oxygen in my tanks. But hopefully it lands me somewhere near my actual base that I have built on the moon. Because I'd rather not have to figure out a way to survive. And of course, I don't have a... There it is. Never mind. I think that's it over there. That at least looks kind of like it. Okay. Yeah, that's my base over here. So I don't know why it kind of landed me over there. So you can see on the moon over here, I have... And yes, trees grow on the moon in Minecraft. If it's whenever you get to the moon, there are saplings that are already kind of planted here. Let me take off my jetpack while on the moon. But the saplings already planted, you can't plant them, but if you let them grow, then you can collect oxygen from them, such as these are doing. So these are collecting oxygen, and they're getting pumped inside this base. And if I come over here to my door, it's like the oxygen is getting pumped in here and getting stored, and then from the storage module is getting outputted to this, the bubble generator. And the bubble generator is getting powered from another lava generation stack over here. But it is just generating a bubble of air that I can just stand around and breathe in. There are moon villagers. Come on, moon villager. And I can trade with them. So I haven't really explored the moon, at least on here. So I might do that eventually. But that's kind of the moon. But currently, I want to show, and I can show off a few more things. So there's these. So instead of having to deal with keeping up with a garden, I can just make these devices. So I have a pool of water getting sucked up to pipes. Water's going in. I have wireless power coming in, and I can plant plants in here whenever I need them. So like I can, whoops, lag spike. I can come in here and grab like a potato, and I put a potato in there, and it sits there. And if we sit here and watch it, it'll just grow a potato, and then it'll get stored here. But a potato will stay and keep growing. And over here, we're growing a magical thing called Ethereum essence. It levels up. And so, like, you can see here, the EMC value is going to be the... What is it? I forget what it stands for. But it's a relative value based on the, like, difficulty to get of the item. And what it's used for is what I actually wanted to explore a little bit today. So I am going to look up a transmutation table. Transmutation table. So I need the middle part. So the middle part is that. So grab a philosopher's stone, grab a transmutation table, and if I pop this boy down, so now my transmutation table, if I dump like a cobblestone in it, I got 1 point for cobblestone, so it has an EMC of 1, and now I can pull out cobblestone because I have value inside of it. So like I can, so the rocket doesn't have value, but these seeds do, and this bucket does. And so as you dump things in, it learns everything that you dump into it. So for instance, if I take this 57 cobblestone would turn into 57 EMC, and I can pull out a seed instead. Or I can put the seed in, and I can have put in, like if I put in this ender book, I get all of that, but then I can take my ender book back out. So it's a very powerful tool. So once you have one of something that's relatively common, it's like some of the more valuable or super rare items you can't just duplicate. But like as soon as when you're playing this, if you build this, so I needed a diamond to build it, right? So yeah, like the Philosopher's Stone. I needed a diamond, 4 redstone, and glowstone to build it. And then from there... There it is. So if I have those items of 4 obsidian and 4 stone, I can then build one of these. And then from then on out, anything that's a relatively common, useful item, I can just dump it one in here, and I can just pull out whatever I need. So if I have an excess of diamonds, I can put the diamonds in and pull out the iron that I need, for example. So that is a very powerful tool. And so a lot of items, if you look, a lot of the base Minecraft items have values. But if I come over here to like this star, it doesn't have a value. I can't duplicate the star. I have to make one every time I need one. So I've just got to go through, and some of the more common items that don't have values, such as this blank rune from the blood magic, I might not make a blank rune have a value, but I might have a blank slate and a blood orb, and chiseled stone already has it, so I might give a blank slate a value, so you can at least duplicate that portion of crafting it instead of having to make that every time. And so those are just like the minor additions I'll be making to this mod pack over time. So anyone who's watching who ends up playing this mod pack, if you have suggestion for EMC values for items, you can let me know. You should be able to message me through the Curseforge system where you would have downloaded it from. So let's open up a few bags. So I've got 2 artifact bags. So I've got ender seeds, so I can plant them on end stone to get ender pearls, emeradic crystal block, whatever that does, and a diamond pickaxe with magnetic and unbreaking. That's pretty nice. And then I've got a diamond shovel with efficiency, an enchanted scroll of knowledge that can give me 2,000 experience, and a diamantine crystal block. So let's go see. Let's see. Some of those have EMCs, some of them don't. And so as an effect of this table, so this is a really good pickaxe. So I can plug it in there, and I can pull it right back out. It is now a normal diamond pickaxe. So you lose enchantments when you do it when you put it in here. But if you're not concerned with enchantments, so if you made your first diamond pickaxe, you plug it in here, you then, so like you see it's at full health. If I come here and I break 1 block, and you see it's no longer at full health. I've used up part of it, that's according to that green bar right there. If I go and plug it back in, and I pull it back out, it's fully healed. So you can, once you've made a tool that has an EMC cost, so like special pickaxes that I make over the custom pickaxes you can make using the Tinker's system, don't have EMC values, and I'm not going to give them values because they're special and rare and you can repair them. But like diamond pickaxes, you can't repair. So you'll lose all enchantments, but you'll keep the ability to have an essentially free diamond pickaxe as long as you don't let it break. And so I want to look at supremium armors. So all of the armor pieces need supremium ingots and a supremium armor core. And, oops, let's see. So premium armor core, I've got none of that. Let me come grab my Supremium. So premium armor core. I have those items. So for another star, I don't have those parts. A loot fabricator. Okay, so I could attempt to... So do I have a wither skeleton skull? So yeah, so this would be where you'd have more playing. So as you play more and get wither skeleton skulls and nether stars, you go through and you make the pieces you need to make Supremium armor. It is basically the best armor in the game, with very few exceptions. And in a few minutes when we move over and I can show you the example world I have built. So I'm gonna dump one in there. So I've built an example base that shows off most of the biggest parts. Also, if you click L, you get an achievement list. So it gives you, it kind of gives you the lay of the land and how you can go forward. So it only includes, so it has the Sky Factory 4 tree system. It shows you how to walk through kind of making those. It has a lot of the upgrades for tinkers and things like that. It has kind of steps that you should take when you're trying to get your farms and all that kind of stuff up and running. Craft any of the diagonal fences from fencing hall. Wait, there's a diagonal fence? Diagonal fence. That's a new one. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that was included. So there's power systems. When we move over to the other world, I will show you some of these things, because this is where you get the other super powerful armor. There's fancy storage, like I showed you, there's the computer, and things like that. There's multiple dimensions to explore. You can make black holes, like you can make a donut black hole, you can make a cookie black hole, and things like that. And then there's the Twilight Forest is a huge dimension that you can explore by itself. That has step by step do these types of things. So it tells you go there and get all of the food that comes from the Twilight Forest itself. And so the Twilight Forest, I'll show you later, is this portal. So we'll show you when I go to the other world in creative mode, so I can fly around and show things quickly. And then instead of nether portals and ender portals, there's another cake, an ender cake, a Lost Cities cake. There's a hunting mission cake, and there's an ender cake. So also for anyone who hasn't played really much modded Minecraft, this thing on the side, you can type in what you're wanting, and it'll show you everything that has to do with that. So I type in cake, and it shows me anything that has to do with the cake. And so I can come to another cake, and it shows you what you need. So I can click on anything you want, left click on something, and it'll show you how you make that. Right click it, it shows you how you use it. So I can use cake in any of these recipes. And how I make a cake is these things. So those are pretty nice. If you're wondering what this giant obsidian pad is for, if I was when I take off into my rocket, it saves the fact that I came out of my rocket right here, straight up. So if I was to land back on Earth, it would try and land me right here, but I would purposefully go over there just in case the rocket blew up on landing. It would blow up on obsidian and not actually destroy anything. So I would be kind of saving myself some trouble and hassle there. So the main things I haven't really done on this playthrough that this will probably be the last part of this that I will stream or record, as the rest of the things are very readily available as individual packs on their own. So you can find other specific information on space things by themselves. The other thing is the blood altar and blood magic. That is a well-known, well-used pack. There's tons of walkthroughs for it by itself. I was meaning this series as a walkthrough for this pack and how things interact with each other, and showing my process of making it, finding glitches, and fixing it as I went along. Oh, and then this system, so like the top, so I showed you the bottom. The top is, this is growing a lot of carrots. And the carrots are just getting brought in, stored over here, and put into these mechanical users that are feeding the little... It's supposed to be people, but I prefer to think of them as robots. So it's feeding the little robots that are inside of this, that are doing the work and sifting the items. And so this is the powered system version of this. When we go to the creative world, I will show you the water wheel version. So like there's a water powered version that's a lot simpler, can handle a lot less items, but it is entirely water powered, that we'll see later. So the last thing is, let's look at the dark glass instead of thickened glass. So this was dark glass. Oops. Oh, one nice thing, if you haven't seen much modded Minecraft, so normally when you have something in like your hand, you can right click and it drops one. In this one, if you hold right click, you'll place one each. I think that is now a normal Minecraft thing. If you left click and hold and drag around things, it'll pick them up. But if you left click and drag around, it will split items evenly amongst all of the places that you said. So it'll help you by placing items a little easier into the crafting grids. As well, instead of a crafting table, you'll see this is a crafting station. So in a crafting station, if I put that and go out of it, it holds what I was building. So like if I have all but one item and I need to run to go get it, I can leave these in there, run, go get the item, come back and just put it in, and it'll be ready. So let's hop down here and grab all of this. Okay, so dark glass, what it does is, normally glass lets light through. And in this pack, if you click F7, it shows up on the ground yellow if a mob can spawn, and red if mobs will spawn a lot. And so you can see, even though there's light out here and a torch right there, no light is getting into this room. But you can see through the glass, because it is dark glass. So it is a very nice and handy item to have. So, before we go to the other world, I want to open up what is the Soarin bag and what can an artifact bag hold. So the Soarin bag is just pretty simple little base items. Artifact bag, a biome crystal, and some iron shovels, some swords and a compass and a hat, chest plate, leggings and pants. So in this mod pack, so I never bothered making any, but diamond armor, where in normal Minecraft is really good. It's the best armor you can get. In modded Minecraft, most often diamond armor is trash. It's not good at all. Instead, you come over here and so I can click this helmet, and so it says I need a helmet piece, a that piece, and a this piece. And so I'll come over here and I'll make, I can make the parts, I can make the layouts, so I already have most of those. So I'll grab the armor trim and the hat core and the armor plate pattern, and I can make it out of rock. And then I'll come up here and make golden casting plates, and then I can pour a metal of my choice into the casting plate and make the parts. And then I come over here and assemble the armor. And so you can, if I, for example, there's places you can look it up, and it's charts for it. Where, let me go and mute the game real quick, because it's really loud. But you can look up charts for it, where, for example, you might find that if you're going to be going to the Nether and you want fire protection and projectile protection from people shooting you and things like that, you might make the core out of obsidian or something for blast protection, and this part out of rock for, or iron for something, and this part out of something else for, they each part that you put in, whatever it's made out of, it gives it inherent abilities, like capabilities included with it. And so that is a nice aspect of the armor, is you can custom build armor for situations. It's not just one armor fits all and you enchant it. And hopefully the enchantments you get or have are the ones that you need at the time. Instead, you can custom build your armor, and you can even dye it, you can upgrade it, you can repair it. And so once you make the armor, in general, it's not going to go away. And Kitty, yeah, where'd the kitty go? Hold on, let me get the kitty. Oh goodness. This kitty is somewhat upset that he's getting held. Oh goodness. Archie. Okay, Archie, okay. Okay. Yeah, there's Archie. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and hop over. So let's exit out of this world. And I wanna hop over to the other world I was working on. That is an example world. So I call it base. Because it is an example of what I would consider an all-inclusive, or a nearly all-inclusive base. There's some things that are scattered around the edges that are just showing you things that you would want to include. But it is an essentially all-inclusive base. So for one thing I recently added is these nice bridges. So you can see it's a nice little wooden bridge. I can type in bridge over here, and it's like there's oak bridges, there's birch bridges, there's iron bridges. If you want to make a minecart bridge, there's rails that are there's bridges that are just supporting rails or power the rails. So you can make a full rail cart bridge system. There's these nice big double doors that open together, so that's a nice improvement. There's all kinds, this is called Decocraft, so you can make all kinds of cool decorations that don't provide any purpose, but they just look nice. And then I love turtles, so whenever you spawn into the world, you spawn with these items. Turtles, because I love turtles. Tigers, because Oops and I went to Clemson, who's the Tigers. And our YouTube of our friend group is named Silly Tigers Ending Monotony, so Tigers. And then Oops loves elephants and penguins. And then there's a cool smiley cloud that's just meant to be a little friend, keep you company. And if you name it things, it'll give it little outfits. So they're kind of spot randomly generated, but they're nice little outfits. There's this, so an elevator. So there's the elevator mod, where elevator is wool surrounded by an ender pearl. So like if you have red wool, you'll get a red elevator, and the color matters. So like if I have a brown elevator here and then a red elevator there, somewhere else vertically in the same like X and Y, so it has to be exactly above and below each other. So like if I'm standing on this elevator and I jump, I go up a level. And if I stand on it and I go down and I shift, I go down a level. So it's teleporting up and down very quickly. And you can see like there's a Decocraft boat. I have down here is a Pokeball. I just made it look like that at the bottom of the pool. There's chairs that you can actually sit in. Moving on, and Oops will probably have seen I made bay windows because I love bay windows, and so of course I had to include that into my little Sky Factory house. Down below here, oops, one more, is the dark room. So you can see there's all the monsters, and if I turn it on, they all die, their items get collected, and over here is experience pylons. So this will collect all the experience from the dead monsters, and you can, if you need experience, come down here and get it out. So like you can come here and you can collect, and it'll just spray out. You can get it, the same kind of setup for the loot bags and such. If I come back up, Over here is whenever you have rotten flesh. So if I take a rotten flesh out, I can put it in this chest, or I can put it directly in here, and it will dry the rotten flesh, and it turns it into leather. Because leather, one of its uses, if I right click, I can melt leather into oil. And so that's how you make oil to fuel your rockets, is leather. Or you can make oil with a mixture of like diamonds and coal and things like that. So over here, we got trees. So one thing I didn't think to show, let me just go ahead and show it real quick. If I grab a tree, if I keep shifting in front of it, there's green sparkles that leave me and go to it. So it's speed growing. So it quickly grows trees and other plants. We've got teleporters. This is to show it. This is a sample of what you need to make your space system work. You have to collect oxygen. On the other planet, you have to have you probably want a bubble distributor so that you can create a bubble of air like this. You've got to collect oxygen and compress it so you can put it in tanks. Here I'm just powering stuff with a creative capacitor just so I can have everything running smoothly and easily. Normally you'd have multiple solar panels on your space station, fuel loader and such. Over here, there are mob bombs down here, so you can get I think it's called a lasso. Yep, a lasso. So you make a lasso and you use it to capture a mob, and you can put that mob in the different things, and as you get better, they give you better drops. And so like I could capture an Enderman and put it in a diamond mob farm, and it would over time drop ender pearls, but they would slowly die. So like I don't think so the lasso has EMC, but I don't think it keeps the mob. But what you can do is once you make a lasso, you could capture a mob, you'd use it and watch it to make sure it doesn't go all the way away. You could take it out, free the mob into a little pit that keeps it safe, use the transmutation table to repair your lasso, come get the mob back and put it back in. You can just keep recycling a mob over and over again so that it doesn't go away. Here we do have a growth system. So these are redstone clocks. It's sending out quick pulses. Inside of here, this is instead of sand, it's SNAD. SNAD works very similar to sand, except for things that are on SNAD grow faster. And if you give it a redstone signal, every redstone signal counts as a growth cycle. And so between SNAD speeding up growth and a redstone signal speeding up growth, you have very quick growth. So like I can have it go all the way down to 1 and 1, and you can see how quickly this grows. And then just inside of that, whenever the observer sees it grow, it pushes the piston. That piston gets picked up by that observer, putting power into that, pushing out this piston. So it's just a quick little system. So this works in vanilla Minecraft. It's just slower since you have to use sand and not a redstone clock. And then when this sugarcane drops, it comes into this chest with the item collector. Here is a deco bench. So this is where you you come into this and you drop in like red dye, green dye, and blue dye. And it's basically a printer. And you can come and click on an item and it'll just create it as long as you have enough of those colors. So that's how you make decorations, is a deco bench. Then there is the blood altar. So this one I said earlier, the blood altar and blood magic has a lot of videos and places where you can find resources on it. It works almost entirely independently of the rest of the system. Of course, there's going to be some overlap of like how you craft things, but in essence, it is not changed at all by this pack. So it is completely an independently researchable thing. But you use it to get blood and use that to do create magic items. Then you need some form of farm on your base to have your pigs and cows, and Say shears. So there's more different types of shears. So instead of iron shears, there's just wooden shears. And so I think do you have to use shears? More. Shaver, that's the name of it. So a shaver is made with a shear and iron, so it does have to be a normal shear, but you can do it with shears and gold. And what it's useful for is if you have cows, you can just get leather. If you have pigs, you can get pig skin. And pig skin can also be used to melt down and make fuel, or make oil for fuel. Of course, you need some for to put all your chickens. So you have hatcheries that you put the nesting pits, you put them in. You use animal nets, made pretty simply to pick up animals. You right click on them to pick them up, and right click on them to put them in a thingy. If you have an egg, so like I can take this blue egg and place it in there, and now an egg is growing into a chicken. So over time you can see the percentage. Yes, you do skin the pigs and cows. Don't worry, see, it grows back. It just works just like sheep. Whenever they eat it, it grows back. You're just taking off the very tip layer. Animal cruelty. You're shaving their hair. Like, see, it still has skin. Like, that's not its organs. It still has skin. You're just taking off the like hair layer. So then that's those. And then, so the chickens will lay things like feathers, manure, eggs, or what they're made to do. So like this is a blue slime chicken, so it's made to make blue slime. And if you leave it alone, it'll just do that. It'll fill up these slots. Sometimes it might make a lot of feathers and chicken manure and grist and things before it actually makes its item, so it won't be able to make its item if it's full. So one useful thing is if you know you want this only and only this, you can just fill up these slots with 5 of that item. Or like if a normal chicken, I want eggs and feathers. So I want eggs and I want feathers, and if I can grab my eggs, put 1 back, and now this chicken will only grow eggs and feathers. So you can kind of control what your chickens grow. How some of the trees work. So you can see the trees just here growing, and this is an upgraded version of the storage for the trees. It's used for the trees. You can use it for whatever. But so the trees will output their stuff into the drawers only if you put filing cabinets in. So like this is an iron tree. For the iron tree, I don't really care about getting more iron trees out of it because I have one that's growing forever. So why do I need more? I don't care about its leaves because they don't really have much of a use. But I do care about its amber, its resin, and the acorns. Because so iron acorn, spell it right, acorn. What I can get it from bonsai trees, but I can use it to make amber, and I can use the amber by melting it down to get molten iron, and then I can put molten iron. I can pour out the molten iron to make items, or to make iron ingots or blocks or anything like that. So that's those. And for example, if I come over and I grab, this is the acorn, this is the resin. Okay. So if I come over to this crafting table and I grab this one and I grab some acorns, and this one and I grab some resin. So I can come over here to this thing called a packager, and if I dump acorns and resin in, it automatically turns it into iron amber for me, so I don't have to remember the recipe. And then I come put the filing cabinet and the folders back in the filing cabinet, and I can close it, and I can just put my excess acorns and amber. And so it's a nice little filing cabinet for certain items. And so it's very nice for the trees because the trees only produce a certain few items, and you can selectively choose which ones you want by only putting the filing cabinet with files for those items. And I believe it can store, like, it's essentially infinite. It stores a huge number of those items. So that is the top layer of this base. And now if I take an elevator down here we have a lava energy system. The lava is also getting, I'm also creating lava. You can also, instead of creating lava in a cauldron, it creates it essentially infinite, at infinite speed. As soon as cobblestone goes in, lava comes out. Over here, it takes longer. So like for slower processes you don't care about, you could use a crucible since it's quieter. And I can pump it into a stone barrel. And if a stone barrel is full of lava and has water on top of it, it creates obsidian. So you can just have a mindless obsidian maker right there that's just creating thousands of EMC and hundreds of obsidian for you. So earlier I showed you a variation on this. This is the compact version that uses, instead of having to have pipes in between every block, there is transfer nodes. So instead of having to have the extraction cables and transfer nodes and things like that, I can have a flat transfer node. So I placed down, so like for example on this column right here, I placed down this block and put the flat transfer node on its face, put down the next one, and so now anything that's in that one will get, anything that's in that one's output will get put in this one's input. Do the same thing down and down and down, and then I extract all of it to put into this chest. The items that I don't want to mess with just get output right over here. Also, so like if you see, let's see that one right there, if I click my scroll wheel on my mouse, it sorts the inventory. Anything like these items come straight on through to here, and then you can see it just creates. So this isn't necessarily the best design, so you'd want to have these two at the same height, so that, because currently like there's an item stuck in this pipe that can't go into this system. And so occasionally you have to just kind of come and grab everything out and dump it back in over here. With this exact design. If you had this at the same height as this one, so they were on opposite sides of this post, it would work fine. You'd be able to put in the items you want in each device, and it would only suck those items in. Then after you have those items get processed, like they get turned into the chunks or whatever, they get output into this box. So if it's a block, it goes here. If it's a chunk, it gets sucked into this furnace that's running off of wireless energy, and then gets turned into ingots. And then if you wanted, you could have, instead of going into ingots, you could put another one of these compressors at the output, and it would turn the ingots into blocks, and you could output those blocks back up into here. Or into another chest, since you can only put so many items that you don't want it to transfer. So that is the electricity version of this one. Instead of electricity, you might want to use water, especially in the early game. So you can make water wheels. So a water wheel is just stone and sticks, so you can make that pretty quickly. You need water, and you can make the thing over here is called an auto sifter, and then you just put sieves on top of it and put meshes in it. And then whenever, like if I was to come here and grab a bunch of sand and have the sand get piped into the auto sifter, whether it be a pipe or be a hopper, for example, it gets piped in, you can see it gets put through. So early game, instead of having to make hoppers in normal Minecraft where it's made of iron in a chest, in this we can make a wooden hopper. So it takes longer for the items to go through it. Instead of holding 5 stacks of items, it holds 1 stack of items. But if you're thinking about early game where you just need to process as many of those pieces of metal as possible while you're doing other stuff, so that you're not sitting there doing nothing for a while, this is a very nice system. And you can see, it's like this has an effective rotation of 11.5, 11. So the longer you make this line of things, the slower they go. So this last one, whatever the last one is, will always be rotating at 1/2. So like 3, 2.5, 2, 1.5, 1, 1/2. And so this last one will always be a half, and everyone after it will be 1/2 greater. And so the longer you make it, the faster this spins, this one spins, and the faster this one spins, the faster the items go through. And then you would have to just occasionally come and collect all of your items, or if you have an item collector, it'll collect them for you. There is the smeltery, so I kind of passed by it earlier. So how the smeltery works, if I grab 4 aluminum pieces, I have a crafting table over here. So the pieces you put together and make a chunk, and the chunk I can put in a smeltery controller, and it will melt it down into liquid, and the liquid in this case is getting immediately pumped into this thing, and this is automatically making ingots. So you can see it's going slow, and if you ever don't want it to come out of this, you can just come up and turn off that pipe. And so now liquid that goes in will stay in, and you can control whether it gets poured into a table or into a basin. A basin makes blocks. A table can make anything that's not a block. So you can have it turn into ingots, you can have it turn into parts for your armor, and other things like that. This is a nice thing that I haven't built in my other world. It's a miniaturization field projector. So you can make it small or very big. So personal shrinking device, you can use it to make compact machines. And the compact machines you can enter. So I'm going into one right now. So inside of this, I would be able to replace some of these walls with like pipes. So like I'd have a pipe output right there, a pipe input right there, a redstone input right there, and a power input right there. And I could have this machine do something complicated on the inside, and I can make this box bigger and bigger and bigger so it can hold more complicated devices. And then on the outside, I just put in power, put in a redstone signal, put in the input pipe, and put in the output pipe, and all of that would be contained in one box. So a huge design. So like, for example, this whole system, I could redesign this whole system inside of that box if I made a big enough one, where I have to just supply it power, and it would route power to all of these devices. I have to input cobblestone, or I could just have it create the cobblestone itself, where I have to just input power, and it would just output the output of this part right here. So all of this sifting and hammering stuff would be inside of a box. And then I could even make it more complicated, where I could have it output on the left side all of like these items, or the final blocks and outputs, and on the other side output these items that I don't want it to do anything with. So that's the way you can use those compact devices. They are very nice. Oops, I don't need those. So that's a compact device. We have all of our storage from the computer system. So you have to just run storage cables to the around, and you have to do storage link cables to actually be able to put items into and out of chests. Then we've got fusion crafting. So fusion crafting, you have to power these 4 and power these 4. You have a thing sitting in the middle, and on some recipes it will require you to have an extra set of systems over here. And so like I turned a draconic, a less powerful draconic pickaxe to this draconic pickaxe. And so this is a very powerful pickaxe. If I was to come to my power system, and if I had somewhere I actually didn't build anywhere where I could charge this, but I could, if I built an... Oh, I need to grab it from my inventory. Something like an energetic infuser. And where's my power generation? Over here. So if I just dropped this on the power source right here, it's charging up. I can drop that in, and you can see it's charging up my pickaxe. So the pickaxe has powers based on being powered, which is pretty cool. So that's it for most of the base itself. that's most of the items you need to have your base functioning. Some of them, like this area, isn't necessarily needed if you're not concerned with doing the blood magic. Chicken stuff isn't needed if you're not concerned with making the chickens to have you create all your supplies. And then power system, instead of having it do it like this, where you have rows and rows of things happening, a few variations on that. So there's this variation where you have 4 magma blocks and 2 cobblestone generators. On top of the cobblestone generators are automated users pointed into cauldrons. They can be made out of glass or anything else. I just use glass to show that they're working. The output, the lava from the cauldrons is getting piped up and out into the generators. These generators on the side power the automated users to make sure the system keeps running. These ones up the top, and you can just keep stacking them up and up and up and up. Get outputted, and you would collect them into either run wires everywhere or use flux plugs. A flux plug on your generator will give power output to flux points on your devices. So you can think of it, so that's wireless energy. So instead of that design, there's this one that's more circular. It does require the stack to power the device. So like occasionally you may have to come over and kickstart it by putting cobblestone into the cauldrons if it ever glitches out and doesn't get power itself for a minute. And then if you don't have all the supplies to make these complicated ones, as long as you have a magma block, a generator, a dropper, the cauldron of some sort, an observer, and 4 redstone, you can make this design, have it output, because now, if I were to put a cobblestone in here to start it, it's just going to keep going. The only time this system stops is if your tank or your generators or whatever you're using the lava for is full, or if it glitches out. So, for instance, if like your cobblestone falls off out the side, it doesn't work. But if you have, let's say, 5 of these in a line and all of the redstone is just interconnected, as long as any one of them is working, so as long as any one of them works and activates the system, all of them reactivate. So it's a failsafe to have more and more of them going. And this is really just an early game version until you're able to build the complicated one. Because this one will work, it'll get you enough lava to create some power, but it's not going to be the best and it's not going to be the most reliable. But if it works and it's cheap, you can use it till you have something better. Just like my computer. My graphics card was a cheap graphics card. It works. It's clearly able to stream and play games that I play. And it works till I get a better one. So if you notice, I've been in creative mode flying around this whole time. If I come down... Oh, I don't have... So yeah, there is a lot. So like, a lot of this, as I'm playing through like my series that's on YouTube, a lot of this I explain as I'm building it in my survival single-player world. So like if you were to ever start playing this, or really any other mod pack, there's places where you can go to watch videos of people making things and explaining it step by step instead of just showing the highlights of things. And also, if you guys watching are interested in anything I've shown, tell me. I'll go fly back over to that thing and show you more of it. But let me go to chat settings. So if I come here in game mode, is it creative or is it game mode 1? Okay, nope, I don't creative. I want survival. Not used to being in creative. So I have all this premium armor that I was talking about earlier, and I can still fly. So that's the main effect of Supremium armor. It's really strong, but it lets you fly. So it is very valuable. The other armor that lets you fly, so if I take off Supremium armor and I put on glitch armor, it also lets you fly. So both of them are very nice. Supremium armor, I showed earlier, has a lot more supplies, and you have to do a lot of killing in the nether and things like that to get to it. The glitch armor, you have to make a deep learner. So like I can click R for the recipe. So you have to be able to make this and make this, so I get to get all that going. And then as you fight, in this case, zombies, you get better and better at fighting zombies. Like, you do more damage to them and things like that. As you do zombies, I can come and do a trial of zombies. And so it tests my strength against the zombies that I was fighting. And when you win fights, so I'm just going to exit out for now. Whoops. Okay. So when you are doing a trial here, your glitch armor does not fly. That is one thing that does not work about it. Is if you're in the trial, you can't fly around. Otherwise, you just fly to the top up here and hit them with bows and arrows, and you'd win. But from trials, you can win unstable glitch fragments. So what they're used for, and how you make the armor, is you can come here, you drop unstable glitch fragments in the water with gold, lapis, and that's it. And it creates the glitch ingots. And you use glitch ingots as if they were iron. And glitch ingots are not going to get EMC, because the entire point of them is to do the trials and fight and get better at fighting. So I'm not going to give them EMC value. Let me make sure that the glitch fragments also don't. So yeah, none of the glitch stuff is going to have EMC values. You have to work for those items, which I think is fair. So that's those things. So earlier I mentioned there were multiple worlds. So I'll go explore some of the worlds in a minute to show them at the very end. But like, so the Twilight Forest, you can either make a Twilight Forest cake, much like you can make another cake, an Ender cake, a Twilight cake, a Lost Cities cake, and a Hunting Mission cake, which I'll show you the Hunting Mission in just a second. It's the lamest dimension, but it has a purpose. But the Twilight cake, instead of making a Twilight cake, you can come here. If you have grass in a pattern like this, with water in the middle, and red and yellow flowers around it like this, and they don't have to be in this pattern, it can be all red, it can be all yellow, as long as it is only red and yellow flowers on each block, and you throw a diamond in, it spawns the portal to the dimension. Oh, I don't want to buy followers. Let's delete that. But so the hunting mission, I'll show you real quick, is pretty lame. The hunting dimension in normal packs, well, I made it lame for a purpose. The hunting dimension in normal packs is a lot of fighting, and since there's a lot of other items and mod packs in my mod pack that do a lot of fighting, I didn't. So since there's a lot of stuff that already does fighting, I didn't want one more fighting area. Since the Twilight Forest is already another large fighting area, so you have all the glitch stuff being a fighting area, you have the Nether being more powerful in a fighting area, you have the Twilight Forest being fighting. I didn't want the hunting dimension to be fighting. So instead, it is completely empty, so it's another place you can build a second base, but what it's more useful for, and also to get back from a dimension, you place an overworld cake on the ground that you're given when you enter the dimension, and you eat it, and it spawns you back home. But so the hunting dimension, what it's useful for, and it does cause the cakes do cause block glitches, like when you right click it, it's gone. But the hunting dimension is perfect. What it's meant for, in my purposes, is if you don't want to build this near your house, where mobs could get loose or something bad could happen and they could get loose. And also, there's a nice, oops. Gotta make sure to turn the fans off before you go inside, otherwise you will die. But, oops. So up here is a power system with a redstone inverter, so that when you have the lights on, the door is open. When you have the lights off, the door is closed. And let's fix that. So that's all of those things. So we'll show you more dimensions in a second. But one other cool thing in this mod pack It's just really fun, but it's really chaotic. It's called chance cubes. So when you break a chance cube, a random thing happens. You can build a chance cube scanner. If the number is positive, it's generally a good thing. If the number is negative, it's generally a bad thing. You can build a silk touch pendant so that you can pick up an item and it doesn't actually break. You can place a new one down and rescan it. And so let's see, 19 happens to be diamond and some redstone. Whereas negative 44 is a boss fight. It spawned a water dome, so it's trying to drown me. And it spawned a giant zombie. So of course I'm just gonna leave for now. Can I not leave? Do I have to kill this thing? Oh, it's a copy of me. It's a mimic. So it's wearing my armor and everything. So let's kill it real quick. Of course, I'm in creative mode, so I'm not drowning. So that's part of the challenge. You can't leave. You have to fight it while drowning. And then it despawns that. But if you had a building there when you did it, your building's probably gone because it replaced your building. This one is 47. Do you want to build a snowman? And then we've got giant chance cubes. So these you can't scan. You don't know what they're going to do. Rockets. Okay, that's fine. So it's set the time to night. That's really pretty. It's also really loud. And yes, Leon, chance cubes are really fun. And they just do random things like this. Creates a really ugly floor with some beacons, some emeralds, diamonds, gold, and iron. And it's also, they made this floor like this on purpose. So if you hold the tilde, which is the button to the left of 1, when you break something, it's called vein mining. It breaks a lot of that item that's touching itself. If I try and vein mine this floor, the floor is not the same. So you can't vein mine it. You have to destroy this by hand if you want it gone. We got this one. It's going to spawn a bunch of TNT and blow everything up. This one, I don't know what that did. That spawned an invisible something that is now blowing up forever. And gave a bunch of diamonds. Oh, there's a bunch of zombies, actually, instead of, what'd I say? I said TNT. So yeah, I'm setting all of these off way away from this base, even though I have a backup of it just to see. It's called art. It's throwing a bunch of potions at you. So typically, what you'll most often do if you're doing a bunch of chance cubes is you'll go either to the nether, to the end, to another dimension. Also a great use of the hunting dimension is this. You build a bedrock, an obsidian floor, and you're all good. This is just giving a bunch of dirt in a random pattern. We got, what is this making? It's giving you a bunch of diamond. It's making modern art. That is also going to be, that's also a pain in the ass to break because it's all, you know, different items. The floor is lava. And a pillar of ores. So it's just giving you a whole bunch of ores. It's making multiple pillars from the very bottom of the world to the very top. So as you can see, chance cubes are very fun. And how you do a giant chance cube. So it actually is a compact giant, it's a giant chance cube. If I come back over here, So if I place one chance cube, it's just chance cube. If I make a 3x3x3, so 27 chance cubes, and you can make them, it gives you a giant one. Oh, I think I know what this is. So this is going to be a bunch of lag for a minute because this is building a Minecraft mansion. Think. Yes, it is building a mansion from Minecraft. It is just generating one right now. And so it's really cool and really pretty. But it's also super deadly because it's spawning with all of the mobs, all of everything. And everything it's going to be pretty dark when it spawns. It can spawn mansions. It can also spawn villages with villagers. So it can also give you really good things. It's not always a bad thing. So this is pretty much all for this mod pack. For this episode, for this stream, for this mod pack. This gives you a pretty good highlight through the course of the series that I'm finishing right now, and through this stream looking at a lot of things. Let me leave this really quick. So if you have Minecraft and are interested in playing with this, I also made a server version, so you can run a Minecraft server of this mod pack. It is on the Curseforge launcher under the name S.T.E.M Gamers Sky Space. It is currently on version 2.1.7, and from now on, most of the updates will simply be updates to, like I said, the updates to the EMC values of items that you can put them into this transportation table, or any other random crafting things that I find that either I don't like or are broken. So, for example, if I wanted you to be able to make a unstable glitch fragment by putting an ender pearl with a diamond and a nether star, I could add in that crafting ability. So like I could add that you could craft those items into that one item. So now the nether, since most people who play Minecraft will know what the nether is, but this isn't exactly the nether. This is very different from the nether. And we'll see in just a second how different. So instead of the normal like closed-in nether, it's all open. It's like giant roots to an evil plant. And so you might have dungeons that are actually like these dungeons that are strongholds that are actually on like land and look okay, but you might just have them over here in the middle of nowhere over lava. So you've got all that kind of stuff happening. And I know this is pretty dark. That's not a very good shot of it. I also don't know where I spawned in, but I'm just going to put my cake down right here, since it doesn't really matter. And let's go look at Twilight Forest. The Twilight Forest, so all of these are meant to be in a Sky Factory type setting, so it's all going to be fairly empty, fairly blank, fairly floaty platformy. What's happening? There it goes. So you can see there's going to be trees, giant trees floating everywhere. These mounds have a ton of mobs inside of them. There's going to be mystical castles. There's going to be frozen castles. There's going to be a ton of stuff all throughout this area. There's a hedge maze like this one over here that has a giant snake in it. So see, there's the Naga. It's a giant snake. It's basically a basilisk. So I covered the fact that the glitch armor lets you fly and that the supremium armor lets you fly. There's also, let me see if I can just grab it for myself. There's also draconic armor. So the draconic armor, once you're wearing it, you have to power it and be carrying a draconic flux capacitor for it. But you have to do a bunch of stuff for it. It lets you not only fly, but it lets you fly super fast. Like, you can upgrade the speed at which you fly around, the speed at which you go up and down. Oops, you also missed it spawning in this giant mansion. So there's a giant mansion right there. So the end, since it's already floating islands, I'm pretty sure is just left alone. It is still just a floating island. Also, you don't have to fight the Ender Dragon. When it spawns in, it dies instantly. You can respawn the Ender Dragon by doing this. So if you have 4 Ender Crystals, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can spawn the dragon back in to be fought. So I'm gonna leave. So we've been to the Twilight Forest, we've been to there. So the last thing is the Lost Cities. And once again, it's going to be floaty platformy looking. But it has one major change from the floating platforms, like we've seen on other things. It's floating spheres that have cities in them. So like there's various cities. So there's like an actual like city. There is a little forest that has like someone's like house or something there. And they're all connected by railway tunnels. So if you come with a minecart, you can just hop on the railway and just take it. And like when you're getting near this area, you could get your rail cart to stop and change tracks to go to a different area. So that one is tons of adventure. If you ever go to another dimension, I believe it's the first time you go to that dimension, you get a cake. After that, you're going to need to bring cakes with you. That way, if you ever need to teleport home quickly, you can just drop a cake down and teleport home instead of having to get back to your cake. But yeah, oops, the Lost Cities and the Twilight Forest are 2 of my very favorite things in this mod pack. I didn't get to show them in the mod pack exploration, but in essence, the Lost Cities is exactly how it works in every other mod pack that has it. I just included it. The Twilight Forest works the same way it works in Sky Factory 4, where it's on island platforms. I think the normal Twilight Forest that's not in a Sky Factory type setting looks like the normal Minecraft world. It's just a giant world that has castles and hills and things like that on it. But both of them are really fun to explore, really fun to fly around. It's just in this in any Sky Factory, especially this mod pack, if you're going to be going to another dimension, you're going to need the ability to fly. Whether it be flying by having armor that lets you fly, or flying by building a jetpack. And so you can build jetpacks that let you fly, and they just do run out of fuel and you have to recharge them. Because they are also electric jetpacks. It's odd. They're electric jetpacks, but when you fly, it shoots fire out of them. So you're converting fire into you're turning electricity into fire that's propulsion. So if anyone has any questions about anything I've shown or talked about, or anything they just want to see more of, I can show it. So for just a second, I'm just going to kind of scan through all of the creative inventory stuff just to check to see if there's anything I didn't talk about. Oh, so like I kind of talked about like the tools. Like there's all the different special tools, and you can make every part out of any material that you want. So like I can make a demonic sword blade and put it on a iron tool rod, or I can put it on a cactus rod, or I saw it somewhere as a bone rod, or things like that. It's like every item has its own ability. So like, this one is lightweight, so it swings faster. Like the sword with that, it swings faster. This one is hellish, so I think it does like fire damage or something. This one's flammable, so it does fire damage. This one's slimy, so like it makes the enemies slow down a little bit. So those are very useful to be able to customly build items. There's just tons and tons of items. Like I can make a drum set. You can make whatever decorations you want. You can play this mod pack, get your base kind of built up, and then just sit there using red, blue, and green dye, which you can make a green, a blue, and a red chicken, and just have them output tons, and just make multiple of them and have them output tons and tons of dye, and put it into your deco bench and build whatever items you want. So like, let me grab some red, some blue, some green. So if I input these, and then I need, oh, you do need clay, so you'll also need a clay chicken. So I can just scroll through and find what I want. Or if I want piano, I can come here and I can find, oh, there's a piano, there's this piano, there's this piano. So I can come and make sure not to shift click it, because you're gonna make as many as you can, and I don't think you can break down deco items. But you got a piano bench. Let me just actually check. Deco. If I come into this bench, okay, yeah. So if you have a deco bench and you make something that you don't want, you can just put it back in, and it'll pull everything out. So like I can make cool little stacks of gold. Look at that. Look at how cool that is. You just decorate up your house and everything you want. You can make shingles from the Chinese workshop. It has shingles for your roof and various roof patterns. So you can make a lot of stuff in this. And this has been a while to make and combine. There's been a ton of glitches, and I think I've finally got it all settled, other than the occasional future update for EMC values or things like that. And also, if you notice, like, this chest is full, and so it's not picking up these items, so you can just come over and turn this off. I'm sure someone out there is smart enough to figure out a way to have it detect if this box is full, and if this box is full, turn these off. I'm sure that's something that someone could do. I just don't know how, because I know it would be a thing you could do with like a chest with the redstone comparator thing. It's like, it'd be a thing where if you really wanted to do that, I could have a chest here that's collecting it. The chest gets piped into a crate so they have a lot of storage, and then the chest is hooked up to the circuit that detects if the crate and chest are both full, it turns it off. So like, I know there's a way you could do that one pretty easily. And then over here you can see the mess. That would be a mess to clean up because you can't vein mine it. And over here is just, you can just vein mine chunks of this away at a time. And so that is this mod pack in a nutshell. Because we've got all of this happening with us. So I will go ahead and save.